In Genesis chapter 25, God tells Rebekah before she gives birth to her twin sons Esau and Jacob that the older will serve the younger. Jacob would then become the receiver of the covenant promise as opposed to the elder son Esau. Now, why does God choose Jacob over Esau? Although we're not specifically told here in Scripture, I want to look at patterns throughout the Bible that shed light on this very topic. Genesis 25:27 says, "And Esau was a skillful hunter, a man of the field." We see later that he's favored by his father, and his father asks him to bring game that he prepares from his hunting. But then it contrasts his character with Jacob and says, "But Jacob was a mild man, dwelling in tents." And we know from the rest of Genesis that he was favored by his mother. So what we do see from the text is that Esau is a skillful hunter. He's a man of the field. Likely his father looks at him as the capable one, the one who should be the child of the promise, to carry on this covenant from Abraham, Isaac, and then to Esau. Now we don't know for sure, but likely Isaac viewed Jacob as a sort of weaker of the two sons. The text specifically indicates he was a mild man and he lived among the tents. So we don't see that by human eyes Jacob is the very capable one. Well, this lines up with what we see in the rest of Scripture. In Deuteronomy, God explains to the Israelites why he chose them above all other nations to be his chosen people. The Lord did not set his love on you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the least of all peoples. So God chooses them because they are the least, not because there's anything special in them, not because they have the qualifications, not because they are great in number and they're powerful, but because they are the least. This lines up with Jesus when he chooses his 12 disciples. He chooses fishermen. He doesn't choose men who the world's going to look at as highly educated. On the contrary, he chooses fishermen who are not well educated. This doesn't mean God never chooses people who have skills and qualifications, but it is his pattern to choose people who are weaker. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the things which are mighty, that no flesh should glory in his presence. So God chooses those who are weak. God chooses those who are unlikely so that no person can glory in his own abilities. Even Paul, a man who was highly educated and very capable, who was chosen by God, says he is the least of all the apostles because he previously persecuted the church. So therefore, in Paul's own mind, he was the least of all the apostles. The fishermen that Jesus chose were above him. So even though by human standards, maybe Paul was very capable, given what he had done and how he had persecuted the church, he still realizes his place of humility.